Now, this Sunday, what are you doing on Sunday evening at 6? Fancy going to the Birmingham no, I keep saying Birmingham, don't I? Why do I do that? Bristol Hippodrome. Got it in my head. Sorry, it is the Bristol Hippodrome, because I know it's the Bristol Hippodrome. I've been there. Went there a couple of weekends ago with my youngest daughter to watch some ballet. Lovely time she had too. I wasn't convinced. She loved it. Anyway, Sunday evening at 6 at the Bristol Hippodrome, you can enjoy a concert. It's a century of music, a century of song that we are offering you for just £8 a ticket. They are available now. There are some new tickets that have just been released, some good tickets as well, actually, that have just been released. You have to get them from the Bristol Hippodrome box office. So what do you get for your century of song? Songs such as, like, for example, Mad World by Tears for Fears, they be from Bath. You get Acker Bilk from Somerset. You get Danny Boy, written by a man born in Portishead, written when he was in Bath. It is music you know and love. It is from where you live. And it's going to be performed by local choirs, one of whom are a choir that have been going for some 9 years. They are an award-winning choir called Sing Out Bristol. They are an award-winning lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgendered choir. We've got 3 members of that choir coming in after the news at 11 o'clock to talk about that choir that's been going for 9 years. And you can see them perform at the Bristol Hippodrome from Sunday at 6 o'clock. We have got a 2-act concert for you starting at 6 o'clock on Sunday evening. It is a collection of music that you're going to hear. Let me give you a little flavour of the sort of thing. I just need to move something down there. A little flavour of the sort of thing that you are going to hear. Acker Bilk, of course. Celebrating his music.
Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling.
And Danny Boy relates to our guests this morning.
And furnish it with love.
This, of course, a local song.
And honeybees and snow white turtle doves.
Obviously advertising Coca-Cola at the time as well. But anyway, let's get to our guests now, who are going to be performing at the concert. Now, this choir has been going 9 years. They are an award-winning choir, and they have an extensive repertoire. I've just been hearing what their repertoire is. It's over 150 songs, is that right?
That's right.
150 songs. We have, from Sing Out Bristol, we have Marianne, Eddie and Guy. Good morning to you all. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for coming in and joining us. Let's start with the member who's been the longest. That's you, Marianne, isn't it?
It is.
How long have you been with the choir?
Oh, I joined in at the end of 2009.
What made you do it? What made you join?
Well, I'd never sung in a choir ever, and in fact, I wasn't really allowed to sing at school, that kind of thing.
You weren't allowed to sing at school? Why weren't you allowed to sing at school?
I didn't seem to have much of a voice in those days.
Who told you that?
Well, I tried a bit in school, but, they always poo-pooed it, really. So, but I thought I'd try and... My mother used to sing in radio. She was in a radio choir.
Right.
So she was sort of getting quite elderly, and I thought, oh well, I'll see whether I could sing. If she could sing, then possibly I could sing. And I joined the choir, and it's just been absolutely amazing.
So do you have a musical background? Do you actually
None
read
whatsoever.
music? You don't.
I've been doing the choir. We do use music, and we
Right.
teach each other to sort of begin to read music, and so I do that. But the thing about our choir is you don't audition, and we have the most extraordinary musical director. So he gets amazing things out of us, and we end up sounding incredible.
What I always find interesting when we talk about people who join choirs, and obviously Gareth Malone has really put choirs on the map through the various programmes he's done on the BBC. And clearly it's not just about the singing, it's about the collective, the camaraderie, whether it's the Military Wives, original Military Wives choir, or all the other choirs that come together. It seems to do more than just be about singing. One thing that comes out, and you just used the phrase there, Marianne, poo-pooed at school. Someone told you at school, probably a music teacher told you at school that you couldn't sing. Now, I'll say this again, and I'm going to upset some people here. If you're a music teacher and you tell people they can't sing, go and get yourself another job, because you're in the wrong job. That's a horrible thing to say to a child. What about you, Eddie? You've been with the choir how long?
I've been in the choir about 4.5 years.
And again, did you sing? Did you read music before you?
No, I still can't read music now. It's still, a bit alien to me. My singing is, I'm a shower and a steering wheel singer. Sit in my car.
I think most of us are that, to be fair.
I'm not a great singer. I loved to sing. But as Marianne said, the music director we've got, Bonan de Burke, he's just able to get such a good sound out of the choir. And as you said, it's a collective, which is why our choirs are community choirs for the LGBT community, for anybody to feel they belong. So we don't audition, anybody can come. And there's lots of other things people can do within the choir as well.
I want to explore the LGBT thing a little bit later, because that's normally choirs come together, which are the common thing is the singing. Obviously, you have a commonality with LGBT as well, which is another entity, another layer to it. But I just want to bring in Guy, if I may. Guy, you've also been with the choir 4 or 5 years?
Yes, that's right.
Tell me, you're on the microphone there. You need that's not very strong. You need to come in a little bit closer to that microphone. Again, why did you join?
I joined mainly because I'd heard about the choir and I'd seen the choir perform a few times, and I knew Ronan as a friend, and he told me some really positive things about the choir, and I finally thought, well, it's time to join, and I've really loved the experience ever since.
It's time to join. Again, like Eddie, like Marianne, do you read music? Do you sing? Or are you a steering wheel and shower sort of chap?
I did some as a child, but haven't for many, many years. And I used to play the piano for very badly, probably, for many years. And so I can read music too. But one of the things which you really don't have to do is read music, and we do encourage people just to sing along.
So by the sound of it, Eddie is the most musical one of you here. I mean, in real terms, if you were to look at a CV in real terms. Now, as I mentioned just a moment ago, in fact, you mentioned this, Eddie, is that it is an LGBT choir. Now, that obviously adds another layer to it, which brings together a community, a minority, whatever you choose to call it. How important is that to the choir? Because it's called Sing Out Bristol, and obviously that is a play on out, isn't it? How important is that, Marianne?
It's really, really important, and actually what's so phenomenal about that choir is that it is across LGBT, but not only that, but often choirs are just men or just women, or you don't get many guys come along when it's a mixed choir, and we really have kind of, all, I mean, it's incredibly varied, incredibly sort of mixed choir, but it gives a real feeling of community, and it's a lot of fun.
And from your point of view, Eddie, you mentioned it. Is that the important layer, dynamic to the choir? Or is that just an incidental thing that it brings people together?
I think originally when it set up, it was a group of LGBT people who liked to sing, so it grew from that. But it really is more than that, not just the community of the LGBT. For some people, it is the only social aspect they do. It's the only link they have, and it just gives them belonging. It gives them somewhere to go, somewhere to feel safe. So it's more than that for a lot of people.
I mean, it's interesting you say that specifically, Eddie, somewhere to belong to, somewhere to feel safe, because I would imagine if you are in any social environment or any environment where you consider yourself, or perhaps others may consider you to be different, to be with people who are like you is probably something that's very hard to find. Was that your case, Eddie, before the choir?
No, not really. I've always been quite happy with my sexuality and where I'm at. But meeting new people is always quite difficult. I didn't necessarily want to go to the clubs and pubs, but I still wanted a community of like-minded people. I mean, on that, the choir a couple of years ago, we sang in something called Various Voices, which is an international choir, but it's all LGBT, and we were singing in Dublin. And we took over the whole of Dublin University, and I can't remember the number of people. I don't know if Guy has an idea. It was hundreds of all from the LGBT community. The feeling of belonging was really immense, and great friendships were made. It's an opportunity that's not always available.
Does that chime with you, Guy, as well?
Absolutely, I think nobody will forget the energy that we had with over 150 choirs from all over for Europe, and there were also some choirs that were invited from around the world to all sing together. And I think that's also a real positive with the choir as we have it as well. As you've heard, it's grown from just a small number of people in a front room to a large choir of over 100 people now. And there is a fluid nature to the choir, whereby sometimes we have some members that have been there right from the start, but we also get members that will come and do a concert and then they'll drop out and then they'll come back again. So it is very much of a family community environment.
So we'll take a pause and we're going to hear you perform Adele's Skyfall in just a moment, which is not part of the concert on Sunday, but gives you people a real flavour of what this choir is capable of doing. It seems from what Eddie was saying, Marianne, to come back to you, that originally this was lesbian, gay, transsexuals and what have you getting together and then singing. Now it is about singing and you just happen to be LGBT. Would that be?
No, the LGBT bit is still incredibly important, and when people come to our concerts, they see we really, really celebrate that as well. But we've got a huge following now. I mean, when we first started doing concerts, I think the people who came along were family and friends, but we can now fill halls.
Family, friends, and the curious, probably.
Well, possibly,
if we're honest, I would imagine. But
now, I mean, we fill St George's at a drop of a hat, and a lot of people.
I've got a copy of the programme here from one of your last concerts. Sing Out Bristol presents Let's Go to the Movies.
Absolutely, and people come because they realise we're not just. I mean, we're pretty good, but we're also really fun, and it's a really good show, and it's celebrating LGBT stuff and more.
And your voices as well, voices that you've all found by your stories a moment ago. Well, let's take a pause and hear you perform. This is Sing Out Bristol. It's a performance of a song that you know very well. It's Adele's Skyfall, and then we'll talk more to Marianne, Eddie, and Guy after Skyfall.
We
Such a Bond note, that, isn't it? The ending note of that song. A justifiable set of applause there as well. That is Sing Out Bristol, their performance of Skyfall. Sing Out Bristol will be performing at our Century of Song concert Sunday night from 6 p.m. at the Bristol Hippodrome. I'm told that you can go and get your tickets in person from the Bristol Hippodrome or go online if that is your thing. With us from Sing Out Bristol are Marianne and Eddie and Guy. This obviously is not one of the songs you're going to be performing, Marianne, is it, on Sunday night at the Hippodrome? 4 songs. You're performing 4 songs.
We are Mad World.
Written by Tears for Fears. They're from Bath, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Eddie.
And then 2 ABBA songs.
Now that is the Mamma Mia, which
Yeah.
is written by the lady who lives in Bristol still, who strung those songs together to perform the
With
musical Mamma
arrangements.
Mia.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. And then we've got Danny Boy.
Written by a chap who, born in Portishead, wrote the song when he was in Bath. Everyone thinks that's an Irish song, don't they? Now, Eddie, you were telling me during Skyfall that you performed that song in Ireland.
We did. We performed that in various voices in Dublin 2 years ago.
Must be a wonderful song to sing because everyone knows it. It's a song that everybody knows, Danny. They don't know the lyrics to Danny Boy, but they know the song. It's one of those incredibly well-known songs.
It's quite a powerful song.
Yes. Very emotive song as well. Is that a problem, Guy, that you can sometimes get emotional on stage when you're singing it? Because you collect all these voices that you know, all these voices you're performing with. You've then got the rise of the audience as well. I just wonder whether sometimes emotions can get a little bit high on stage.
I think it can be, and certainly we're encouraged to really think about the lyrics and think through, because then we get a better performance. Certainly songs like Bread and Roses, for example, that came from the film Pride, which obviously resonates very strongly with all of us. I also think your comment about Danny Boy being easy because everyone knows it. Actually, it's probably more challenging because everyone knows it, especially as we're a choir that sings in 4 parts and sometimes 6 and 8 parts. So it's quite hard sometimes to not sing what you know and actually to hold your line and hold your part.
Well, we've also been talking this morning about songs that you know and love that you change the lyrics to occasionally. I know sometimes, I'm sure you play around with songs as well. I would imagine the performance, when you're doing the performance, Marianne, when you are performing as one of the choirs this weekend on Sunday evening at this concert at the Bristol Hippodrome, that's something rather special to be performing at your home theatre, as it were. The city centre, the big theatre, one of the big theatres outside central London.
No, it's really amazing. I mean, actually, we have performed at the Hippodrome before.
I don't doubt that.
Yes, but no, that's great, and be really nice to have the other choirs there as well. And we're one of a number of choirs that are singing that night. So the whole Bristol thing is just wonderful.
Now, we were talking also during Skyfall about choreography as opposed to moves. Eddie, you were sort of questioning what it was. Marianne was calling it moves. Guy was calling it choreography.
No, it's choral.
It's choreography. Choreography. I think you just made up a whole new word there, Guy.
Yes,
which is very good. So, I mean, you're not a static choir by any stretch, are you?
No, and this is the thing that people are not going to be able to, see on the radio, of course. But on Sunday night we will be doing our choreography, and we're known for that.
Well, 4 songs you will get from our guests this morning, Sing Out Bristol, along with the other choirs who are performing on Sunday night at the Bristol Hippodrome. Tickets available online, or you can just pop into the Bristol Hippodrome if you venture into the city centre of Bristol to pick yours up. And that's just one of the concerts you're doing. I know, Eddie, you've got some other concerts as well, haven't you, coming up?
Yes, we have. We've actually had quite an amazing year so far because we've already sung in St George's.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, we sang at the Old Vic, celebrating their 250th birthday.
Wow.
We've got the Hippodrome coming up this weekend. We sing for various local organisations. So we raise money for Terence Higgins Trust and other places. Our next big concert, we've gone to one a year because we're in such demand these days, which is great, which is next April, which is on the 22nd of April next year. And we have maybe 4 new members' nights a year if people want to, come and join us.
Okay.
And our next ones are going to be the 6th and the 20th of September. But we are opening Pride again this year, Bristol Pride on the 9th of July. So we've got a whole half-hour concert with lots of moves and lots of songs.
Lots of moves, I'm surprised you've all got day jobs, I'm guessing, or you all have other lives. Yeah. Yes.
We do.
So how do you fit all this in, very briefly? Eddie?
It can be extremely busy, especially coming up to concerts,
Yeah, I
because
bet.
we rehearse once a week, but then we do small sectional rehearsals as well, and then actually running a choir of this size does take a lot of time and commitment from the committee.
I can see that just by looking at Marianne's face. Guy, Eddie and Marianne, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Part of our Century of Song at the Bristol Hippodrome, Sunday night, 6 p.m. Tickets still available. Enjoy the concert, and thank you all for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you very
for having
much.
us.